So we're here today with Bill Chipman from CRESS Commercial Real Estate, and he has generously agreed to be our moderator of this program day, our panel on built, grown, and raised in Fauquier County. I'm excited to have you here today, Bill. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Sandra. I'm really excited to participate in this and moderate it because I think the group we have is incredibly interesting.
I have found the same. Of course, you and I have listened to them all now, so we know.
Yeah. Right.
So I like to start our conversation with a little bit about you and how you started your business. So if you could just take yourself back to way back when you first began, and then do a quick fast forward to where you are now.
Sure. It's interesting how I got into commercial real estate. I was so I graduated from James Madison with a finance degree, and I was working construction. And there was a job opening for a brokerage firm up in DC that needed really a starting position. And I thought, well, you know what, I'll try it. And I thought, and then I'll figure out what I want to do. So fast forward 30 years, maybe I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do. But I learned the business, commercial real estate, by being in the big market in DC. Then I came out to Warrenton, and I worked a couple of years with Norman Realty, and I was on the BZA for the town. And Steve Athey, who is also on the BZA, asked me what I did. He said, "Well, why don't you come to my office tomorrow and we'll start our own company?" So that's how we started Commercial Real Estate Services 20 years ago. And it's been, I think, once you own your own business, it's very hard to go back and work for a bigger company. And it's been great. Like any business, you learn to grow. You go through the hard times and you enjoy the great times. But every day, I learned something new about not only the business, about our community, but also what makes a business decide to locate where they're going, or why they want to grow, or, as you said, why they want to leave. So it's great. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Have you seen a difference in the reason why people come to locate their businesses here from 20 years ago?
Yeah, I think initially there are companies that came out here and wanted to start a satellite office. So they did. Now we're seeing companies that will actually locate out here, not being a satellite, but this is their main office. Now that's changed a little bit both ways with COVID. In fact, we just did a small lease next door for a company that has 3 locations up and down the East Coast, but they have a large land holding out here. And he said, you know what, I'm not going to go back into DC. I just want to get a little local office here. And they love doing that right now. So I think what you'll see is people that have been not going into DC may decide, let's just grow it out in these communities. That's my hope.
So you do have a very unique perspective from commercial real estate standpoint. What do you see for the future of commercial real estate here?
That's that's a great question. Commercial real estate grows when people live out here, when communities grow. It's sometimes taboo to say that we need growth from a residential standpoint, but that's the only way commercial grows. So if businesses want to locate out here, they need a workforce. And to get that workforce, we have a great workforce, but we also need a more diverse workforce. And you get that by growing the service districts. I see that I see companies slowly will locate out here. And the reason they do is because of the uniqueness of Fauquier County, but also in a couple of service districts, we have good bandwidth. So that's very important for communities or companies to locate out here. So Bealton has great services, Warrington, obviously, New Baltimore. So hopefully we're going to see growth in those service districts, not only from a little bit of residential, but also from the businesses.
You mentioned bandwidth, which comes up at just about every conversation you have anywhere right now. How important is that for Fauquier County to have that in order to promote and encourage our successful businesses?
Yeah, extremely. It really is. First of all, you need water and sewer in these service districts, which is always a challenge. But after you have the service districts that have water and sewer, it really is important to have bandwidth, because look, that's how we communicate. Look how we're communicating right now. You have to have the ability to have good bandwidth.
Do you find a challenge with water and sewer in the service districts at the moment?
Yeah. So if you're an industry that wants to locate out here and you want to get into some of the industrial districts, very few of them have the zoning that's industrial plus the water and sewer capability. Ben Hill really is our only one. We have Marshall and Ben Hill, and Bealton. But when you get back out into Catlett, we're getting water and sewer out there. But it's been a slow process. So out of the 7 or 8 service districts that we only have a handful that can really support both water and sewer and bandwidth.
Those are some big ticket items that will take a little while to work through. You had mentioned just a bit earlier about the uniqueness of Fauquier County. What do you identify as the uniqueness of Fauquier County?
I think a few things. I think when you come out here, you are able to get into the mountains really quick. I mean, it's a beautiful setting. You're able to get back in DC if you want to get something that's has more culture, and you're able to get over to the Northern Neck or the Eastern Shore fairly easy. I spent some time in Fredericksburg, and nothing against Fredericksburg, but that's not Fauquier County, and that's what makes Fauquier County very unique is our closeness to Northern Virginia, but really the ability to escape pretty quick into some beautiful areas of Virginia.
Can you see a way to capitalize on that uniqueness to assist businesses in being successful here?
I think that businesses understand the ability to get back into Northern Virginia market, and that kind of sells itself. You have to sell. You want to sell a business that their employees are able to enjoy the surrounding areas, right? Because if you want to go into some of these other counties, yeah, you can go ahead and locate in the middle of, let's say, Fairfax or Loudoun, but really, are you going to get the quality of life that you'll get out here? So I think that businesses, once they are able to understand the infrastructure, the water and sewer, and the broadband, then I think they have to sell their employees, wow, this is really a great place where you can enjoy quality of life.
How do you look, if you look at the whole landscape of business here, how do you define economic development, particularly for this community?
Yeah, so that's been a struggle over the last 20 years, is we have an economic development department and they try really hard, but I think they're underfunded and they don't have enough direction. And that is really a struggle, because if you look at some of the surrounding counties, they have both. They have a budget and they have a lot of support from the supervisors. And that's always been the struggle here. And I think once we've already lost out to a couple companies that didn't locate here. And I've seen companies that leave Fauquier and go to Culpeper, to Stafford, because there is better opportunity from not only from a incentive standpoint from the counties, but also just more support. Look, when a company comes into to Loudon or Prince William, they put them on a fast track. If they want that company there, they put them on a fast track, and they're getting permits in 90 days. And we're we're lagging behind on something like that. And it's something that we need to focus more on attaining that.
And so why, some people will say, well, why is it important that businesses succeed here? Why does this community need successful businesses? How does it affect me, the regular person that sends my kids to school and goes to the grocery store?
Well, number one, it affects tax base. Look, our tax base, if we want to keep our tax base similar to what you see in other counties, we're probably 7 or 8% below what you see in our immediate surrounding counties. And so when you have a better tax base, it keeps the residential taxes low, and it helps improve the infrastructure that we need from a school standpoint. And also what you'll see is that you'll have retailers come in when they see a residential base, which a lot of people want. You and I have talked about this, Sandra, is that everybody wants retailers in this marketplace that don't exist, but they see them in other marketplaces which have a much bigger population base, and you can't have one without the other.
You've seen that firsthand, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, we sure have. We've seen retailers come in here who have taken a pass. You know, it's a really interesting, just a small sample of a story that took place about 25 years ago. Is that there was a restaurateur that came in from New York, and he was coming to Virginia, and he came through Warrenton, and he wanted to locate in Warrenton. He said, number one, he couldn't find a place, and he couldn't find anybody to help him. So he kept going went to the next small town, which was Culpeper, and that restaurateur, It's About Time, has not only started that business, he then has 2 other businesses. He's has a little boutique hotel. So that's kind of really what we need to do. Is when we see an opportunity here, we need to grab it and run with it and support it from a economic standpoint, and also from board of supervisors, and also a town council standpoint in the town.
So what would we have? What do you see that could actually be done from a board of supervisor or policy standpoint that could help?
Giving more money to, or a better budget to, the economic development, and letting economic development have the ability to say, all right, Mr. Business Person, you locate here. I'm going to let you locate here. And then they're going to go back to the supervisors and say, I'm locating this business here. You all figured it out. Because that's what happened in Prince William. That's what happened in Stafford. That economic development department and that director went out, got a business, and said, yep, we'll get you here, and went to the supervisors and said, they're coming here. You guys figure it out. And that's not what happens here.
I think sometimes the comment is we don't want to be like those other communities. So what is the answer for us to be able to keep this uniqueness and also have successful businesses?
Well, I think from a business standpoint, we want to be like those other businesses, right? We want high tech here. We want not a plethora of data centers, but we want data centers, right? We want that. That's a huge tax base with having a lot of employees, which is great. But no, we want to be like those other communities. I don't think we want to say, no, we don't want high tech. We don't want certain businesses here. We absolutely do want businesses here.
Well, we have limited time today, and I still want to get my last question that I get from everybody is sitting back, and you're, did you say 20 years? Is that all you've had here, or was it 30 years?
I've been in the business. I've been here 30 years, but I started the company 20 years ago.
So what is a lesson that you've learned as a business owner and a citizen of our community for this long that you'd like to share with people?
Yeah, I think from a business standpoint is what you learned as a kid is you have 2 ears and one mouth. And when you listen to what companies want and really, really understand the company, then you're able to make a match, right? You're able to figure out what they want, where's the best place to locate. And it really is, it's so satisfying to make that match and get companies here and watch them grow. That's been the most satisfying thing when you see a company start with 1 or 2 people and maybe they grow to 10 and maybe they get a bigger space, or maybe they have 2 spaces now. That's really been the best part of it. It's fantastic because look, I'm not leaving this community, and I want to see the best companies here, and I'd love to see them grow.
Perfect. That's a perfect way to end our conversation today. So I appreciate you taking the time